That's no moon. It's a space station. It's too big.
That's a joke for people who saw the very end of the movie. That's the joke. An end spoiler for the end of the movie. Now here's a spoiler for the beginning. Obviously, we see the funeral pyre for Caesar. I'm not sure. I think Andy Serkis got a cameo in that, right? So Andy Serkis has a cameo. The orangutan Maurice. So you have Caesar dead. You have Maurice. I think you have. I don't know if you have the Steve Zahn character, but you have all the apes there, but minus Nova. And they didn't want to pay Amaya, and it would have been too much, I guess, for the studio executives and Steve Asbel. It would have been too much work to put a star that is not a star. She's moved on to modeling. So I mean, it would have been too much to get a child who's Amaya's height, put her child face over it. You have to pay her. You have to go through all the red tape and all that stuff. So they didn't want to. So Nova is not in the beginning of the movie. And I know people are going to bug Amaya. They'll be all like, Amaya, did you see the movie? Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie? But even if she wanted to, look, she's got work. And even if Amaya wanted to see the movie, the fact that we're calling attention to the last movie, to War of the Planet of the Apes, people would be looking for her and bugging her about it. So I don't think she doesn't need that kind of attention. She'll see it when she's good and ready, most likely on video on demand or subscription service. Unless she gets some sort of special privilege to see it privately, she's going to have to wait until video on demand. But if Amaya doesn't want to wait, I think she will, but I'll spoil this. This is the spoiler review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, who's in this? We got Freya Allen, who is May, originally called Nova, but because all the humans are called Nova. But you got May. You got Lydia Peckham. I think she's the girlfriend. Owen Teague plays Noah, the main character. So that's Noah. That's the true Caesar successor, okay? Then you got Kevin Durand as Proximus Caesar, the bad bastard guy. And some of these people you see at the end of the movie. And then you got William H. Macy, this guy that loves to live in a prison. He's happy in his... Basically, William H. Macy is Nigel. Nigel's happy living in his world. What is that song? We must make love to Nigel? No. What is it? What's that song? Making Plans for Nigel. Making Plans for Nigel. I think this is Wes Ball's ape directorial debut of the ape lore after Matt Reeves. And so I'm not sure. I think Andy Serkis has that cameo at the beginning, but no Amaya Miller. Yeah, she'll have to wait. If you don't mind the spoilers, here we go. So, yeah, we spoiled already the beginning and the ending, but let's talk about the middle of it. So, it is taking place 300 years. We see the funeral pyre for Caesar, and then we go to see the ruins of cities covered in green. We see an orangutan, but we see a father and a son and a mother. And the beginning of the first 10 to 20 minutes of this movie reminds me of Avatar, when Jake Sully climbs those hovering platforms in the sky and giant vines, and he has to do a test. Very much like that. If you combine Jake Sully in Avatar with sort of that scene that Naomi Watts has evading the dinosaur in King Kong, it's kind of like that. Just one thing after the other. And it's all about to get this egg. You take the egg, and you're bringing it back to the father, who is the chief of the Eagle clan. So you got eagles, and let me see if we can do a little moving gallery here. So yeah, there's no remnants of the past except just referring back. So 300 years, what has happened? We got the Freya Allen character, and at first she seems like many of the humans that you see in the original 68 classic, but she can actually speak full sentences, so she's very smart, very clever. That looks like Amaya almost as an adult, current day Amaya, but that's something else. Promotional art, I guess. We got Caesar to look back here. These are all primitive things here. So basically you have Noah and you have the two other, his girlfriend and then his best friend, who's oddly named Anaya. So I'm not sure if that's named for Amaya. Amaya will have to look this up and see if Anaya is somehow named after Amaya, but probably not. Who knows? So Anaya and then his girlfriend are the sort of they're three friends. So the three friends to the end. The tribe gets destroyed by a gorilla and these apes with red masks, red rusty armor, and these electric cattle prods, and they're like battery powered, and they got cords, kind of like the old Jedi lightsaber. You connect a cord to it, batteries power it, and you can power up your. I was wondering how they were going to power it up. Like it's electricity, and these are primitive beings. But it would seem that the king Proximus Caesar is not exactly a primitive king, as he there's the city, there's city in ruins, and so he's basically it's the typical story of the king who bought his way into power. Nobody likes him, but and even if they did like him, they're stupid, and if they don't like him, they're too afraid to stand up to him. It's one of those typical stories. So, for many reasons, I could not give this an A plus because it's kind of the tropes are still there, but it's very very good what we get. Really enjoying what's happening so far. This is the past. This is all the past. As I look through this, I'm surprised we're not getting like more pictures. Let's see if we can find some pictures on Google. Well, we must rely on the Google now because Bing's a bastard. For some reason, Bing does not have enough picture. And we got this guy. So that's Proximus Caesar. So it's the king. So his kingdom is by a large canal, not unlike the Panama Canal. And inside this abandoned water system, there are tanks, there are guns, there are grenades, there are bombs, there are all kinds of weapons. But Freya Allen May is looking for one thing particularly. She's looking for a computer, sort of an access to find something. Now, are they trying to find the space shuttle, Charlton Heston's space shuttle? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Let's assume they are. They're not going to find it for centuries, right? Because he's supposed to come back 1,000 years later. I thought it was 4,000 years. I don't. Somebody will tell me the exact number of years. I think it's 1,000 years later. So 2968. I don't know what it is. So, or maybe it's Mark Wahlberg who's supposed to be in the space shuttle. Who knows? I still like some of that movie with Tim Burton directing it. There is the bird that he tried to get a couple of times to cooperate, and push came to shove, and he would go on his arm. The minute you see that bird go on Noah's arm, that's when you know the movie has to change. The cliches are there. So there was even a joke that they should have attempted this joke where the gorilla had a barrel and just threw it away when he was climbing after Noah in sort of the workways of the machinery, the inside the building. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of themes. There's the window. We see the window theme, and we see them going into a window to go inside where all the weapons are. There's a whole thing in here. Okay, the thing is that although there's a lot of cliches, no, May is not like siding with the apes. She's siding with the humans. It's like she says to Noah at the end, there are things that humans should not, that apes should not have. What was inside that canal were human things that apes should not have. Apes cannot have those human things, you know? And I think it kind of goes with the whole first contact rule of there are some things that Vulcans should not have that humans have, and some things that humans have that Vulcans should not have. So if you think on the logic of humans versus Vulcans in the Star Trek logic, it'll help you understand what's happening here. It's not a matter of prejudice. It's not a matter of hating the apes and the primates for what they look like. There are things that if they couldn't do this, if they couldn't make a TV, If they couldn't make a movie about Planet of the Apes on their own without human help, why should they have that privilege, right? So, and yet it's a funny thing because I guess if Noah knew better, he would say, "Well, wait a minute. Your kind have taught us. You have given us the gift of sign language. You've given us the gift to try to do like playing video games, like Elon Musk's getting a chimpanzee to play a video game. You've given us all these privileges, but then you don't want to give it to us. Like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?" But then it's like there's dangerous weapons. So I guess if it was merely like video games and if there were nothing but Super Nintendos and GameCubes inside the canal, then it wouldn't have mattered what Proximus Caesar wanted. Proximus Caesar is just the typical king that you see in every movie. And the MacGuffin, the trophy, is inside those doors. But of course, there's a little bit of conversation between William H. Macy, the old sort of, he's like the old biker, not even the old biker dude. Maybe he was a biker, but like he's more of the pothead, groovy. I was gonna say Woodstock kind of guy that isn't Woodstock anymore, and he's just like he's got his books. He's happy to live in his prison, and he tells May, our time is gone. The apes have taken over the planet. That's it. Like it's an ape planet now. We don't take over that planet. It's not ours. But May is like, no, fuck you. This is our planet. This has always been ours. Like we're taking it back. And all the while, Noah wonders if humans and apes can live side by side. And we just don't know. At the end of the movie, of course, we're still not going to know that. But there's an observatory, there's a telescope. And also, too, let's talk about the orangutan. I forgot the orangutan's name, but Maurice, too. I don't know his name. So the second Maurice, this guy is, he's a philosopher. He's very similar to the William H. Macy character. But I think that he wants to learn. He's not William H. Macy. The orangutan is like he wants to learn about the humans. He wants to learn more about what our common denominators are, right? And they have a fight on the bridge because Proximus Caesar's right-hand gorilla and his army goes and fights him. I like the scene where they crawl under the bridge. And he gets swept up in the dangerous rapids, and that's the end of it. Now, at first you think, now this is what gives me, I'll take a point off or two for this, okay? I have mixed feelings about it because I think that the orangutan should have stayed because he was comic relief. Now, at the beginning, he pulls out an electric a baton on Noah and says, "Who are you? What do you want?" And it's like Noah's like, I'm innocent. I'm a victim of my people were killed. He goes back home. At the beginning of this movie, it's a coming of age story where Noah is trying to get that egg and bring it back to his father and have a rite of passage. And May down there, she takes it away from him by having a conflict, and then he smashes the egg. So Noah has to go get another egg to complete the rite of passage. And one thing leads to another, a domino events, and that brings him into contact with Proximus Caesar. So not much you could do about it, but at some point, the Noah and the orangutan learn about that she can talk, that May can talk. She has intelligence. She knows what she's saying. She knows what she's doing. Even after 300 years, not all the humans were compromised by the gas. And they tell you at the intro, a little caption at the beginning of the movie, what happened in the first three movies. So in the 20th Century Fox movies, and now here the 20th Century Studio movie. And one thing leads to another. Noah becomes the caretaker of the Eagle clan. He has to be because there's nobody else. The father's dead. He was killed. But yeah, it's unfortunate that the orangutan was killed in the rapids. But I also think if the orangutan had still been alive, he would have followed May to her hideout, which they don't go follow her. They just let her go, which is sort of a mistake, but we kind of have to wrap up the movie. And May goes to a woman in a hazmat radioactive like free suit, and to protect themselves from the disease, getting sick. Somehow Freya Allen is immune to the monkey disease. So by her not getting sick, they sent her out there to go and do things. Or she was one of a group of people. She was the only one that came back because her people got killed by Proximus Caesar's army with those electric prods. And yeah, I think Proximus's problem was that he was too greedy. He was too greedy. I would just call him King Proxy because he was not really a king. He was just like King Proxy is sort of a an oxymoron if you think about it. He just wasn't that good. He knew that they were trying to pull the door open with chains, but the thing's smart locked and you're not going to get that open. So they just don't think about it. And there's more here. Here are the three main groups who I like that Freya Allen Noah or May is seen as a horror movie monster at the beginning of this movie, and later on we see this beautiful woman come out, and it's an uneasy alliance between woman and ape because they both want to do good, but can they both get along? Now, I kind of want to see a love story between those two people. But obviously, I don't know if that's going to work. It could. You never know. If this trilogy is staying within the same timeline of the same era and not going forward another century. But we don't know. We don't know. We have to see how everything turns out when we get to the arrival of Charlton Heston or Mark Wahlberg coming back to Kalima. We go to Kalima. A lot of pictures here. This is where they are at Proximus Caesar's den. They killed the father. The mother is still there. Most of the tribe is still there, the Eagle clan. The Eagles are Proximus's undoing. The gorilla is killed. And there's a moment where he hesitates. He wants to save the gorilla. Ape must not kill ape, as the orangutan reminded Noah and also gave him that window necklace. That window is so important because it's a window to the world. I remember saying to somebody that watch at the end of the last movie, they're gonna look up, and the next window they're gonna look up at is outer space at night with the space shuttle falling down. And people are like, what are you talking about? Like, look at the end of this movie. That's what I'm talking about. Though we're not seeing the space shuttle. I was like, oh, we're gonna see the space shuttle. We don't see it. But we hear somebody. I think it's going to be a space station. It's not going to be the space shuttle. We're not there yet because they're still not wearing clothes. There's no Dr. Zaius. There is the orangutan who was. I feel really sad for that orangutan because he was comic relief, but I think he would have figured out too early what May was up to. He would have followed her. That would have been a sure thing. There's this lovely lady here. Severance. I don't know. Some of these are different performers. There is May. There is Proximus Caesar. They've been captured after the bridge incident. Great character. We will miss you terribly. So I have to knock down some points. So let me go ahead and give a final score. I'm going to give this an A. Going to give it an A minus. Only because I felt weird about the orangutan getting killed. So I'm going to give it an A minus. I'll give it like a 91, 92 if you had to really ask me. But like a good A, but not outstanding. There are some tropes that keep it from being outstanding. Not woked up. A minus. I really enjoyed this. The orangutan being killed, I have mixed feelings about. But especially, I mean, when she kills William H. Macy, because William H. Macy was going to snitch on May and the Apes. Well, anyway. So if we're very good, maybe the next movie will be Nation of the Planet of the Apes and Eclipse of the Planet of the Apes. We'll see you soon.